Okay.
No, it's like
He loosened up.
Stay here. Because you.
Make a circle.
Let's make a circle, like a round table. I just want to make a quick introduction for those who don't know. This is Master Sean Bradley. He's one of the great, I take it back because I don't want to embarrass him, but he's a really good Sinmoo Hapkido practitioner. He knows it. Master Kim from Florida, Taekwondo and Hapkido master, right?
I think you get to be called Grandmaster.
Grandmaster. And he's a great guy. I met him a few years ago in was it San Francisco? Which one was it?
That was San Francisco.
San Francisco or Las Vegas? I can't remember. Very nice guy. We got along right away. You know, very good martial artist. This is my friend Bob Clark. Bob started Hapkido before me, somewhere back in 1970 something.
All right, let's hop right into the techniques. So what we wanted to cover was the stepping techniques. So stepping techniques are, a group of techniques that Dojin kind of created probably about 10 years ago when I think in large part he was forgetting the 30 attacking techniques. When he created the 30 attacking techniques, he gave those techniques to Master Young T. Freedom.
Big guys. And then flexible.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, I know.
Either big and flexible.
They don't work.
Well, you go
But I
over
did.
there.
Yeah, but no, I'll show you.
Oh, because there's always a way to do it, but there's always a
If
question.
I do this, it doesn't work. I did it.
Right, okay, no, good. It's going to be far worse.
Yeah, plus I got fingers.
Right,
Yeah.
right, that's it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
And then,
So I use my one Taekwondo technique.
it's just like that. Do the ground construction. So, I come over with, okay, this is not what we're doing. Yeah, I mean, for you, but
Yeah.
not everybody.
Yeah.
There's some people kind of more flexible.
Right.
But it's not always.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, you got my elbow blocked. Yeah, that's good.
That's
So
why.
really quick, Grandmaster Kim's making a good point on this, and I didn't emphasize this deliberately because I want you guys to play with this concept of locking the next joint from the first joint. Okay. Because what he said is perfect. I don't know if you want to explain what you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll explain. The reason, have a seat, please. I don't like to keep standing all day. Get down to the ground. Because we have people like big, and some guys like big and flexible. So when I apply that type of technique, it doesn't work with the same concept. That generally working, but only for those who are like big and flexible, doesn't working. Now those guys, soon they don't feel anything, they start fighting right away. So imagine you be on the street for a situation like that, you'd be in big trouble right there. You can detect, action better with like less than a second or so. So here like this, generally it's working. But some guys like go like this and still they're moving. It's like arms like this and not doing anything. So that's when which is like blocking an elbow at the same time as a pushing, which is when you do here, you put his body against his own elbow. So my body's blocking and energy not to flow past me this way here to crash. I go my into it. So that's how to stop that big guy from fighting back. Focus for them, they don't try to, those who try to try to be mean to me, but they want to make sure the techniques work fine or not. That was the whole point. So, put down to the ground. You have to keep falling too many times. So, here, circle, it generally works. Big and flexible, just not moving at all. Some guys, like, literally, the thumb touches right here. I mean, crazy.
Yeah.
Okay?
We got a guy like that. We got two guys like that. They're not here
Touches
today.
here and touches here. So what do I do with this guy? I mean, it make you feel like, what is going on with this guy? It's like a Gumby. But there's no Gumby on the elbow. It works right away. And just done.
That's exactly what I was, said. It's using this joint to really lock this joint. Because we always talk about these as wrist locks, but none of them are really wrist locks. They're really to lock up his entire body. And if you're not getting that response, You've got to do exactly what you're saying and move to the next joint.
Right.
There's another thing he did, which in the street is very important. Whether you're using the wrist or that elbow,
Mm-hmm.
you stayed close.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that with space, especially in the world of jiu-jitsu,
Right.
the guy's just going to pivot on it, or judo or
Exactly.
sambo, they're going to pivot on their head straight toward
If you
you.
don't mind telling me your background, it's up to you.
I'm in law enforcement, 20 some years, on a federal task force, trained defensive tactics with them and taught their defensive tactics people. I'm also judo and sambo. So, and I've trained, fought and trained military combatives, including overseas. But the technique, you didn't say it, but you did it,
Right.
is a big, this world of guys that are into grappling, so many grapplers, the minute they go to their back, they're going to pivot their legs
Right.
towards you.
Speed.
And if there's space, they're going to counter your lock by spinning toward it
Yeah.
and trying to get their feet in, where if they would have spun the way, I don't know if you realize, his leg was
Blocked
towards
the
your
hip.
side.
Yeah, he blocked the hip. Couldn't go nowhere.
You would have spun into him, but you wouldn't have gone anywhere, he would have
Right.
still locked you.
Yeah.
So it
There's
wouldn't matter.
the similar things like, that's a good point. Typically, I found that people who has done wrestling and judo and jiu-jitsu, most of jiu-jitsu people, you know, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. You give them the space, they'll get a chance to get out. So, good way to apply the, adaptive judo and jiu-jitsu technique, keep this guy close. It's like a cobra, right?
Mhm.
Two things you can do this. One, squeeze by the neck. Two, throw him in the sack. That's it. Now once you throw him in the sack, that cobra, no matter how strong they are, they're useless. So jiu-jitsu is basically like throw a person in the sack, closing the gap right there, and completely trap them. So I found, you know, if you want the technique, remember this one, right, in the correct form, okay? Let me tell you this. This is what they do. When I turn this down to the spin, so come on.
Get your back.
This is what happens, okay? And then all of a sudden they grab you, take it down to the ground, and you're done. That's exactly what happens.
Right.
So again, just like Master Sean was mentioning about, and 1, 2, 3 joint, and 1, 2, 3 joint. As we refer as number 1 joint, number 2 joint, number 3 joint. 1, 2, 3. So you'll be able to control 3 joint, you're good to go. I mean, you're gonna have heck of a control right there. So as you're doing this, I found from them, and the first, when I see that guy was trying to do, like I see got some judo background there, or jiu-jitsu background, which is basically you have to block this energy flow from the body, which is put a little finger onto it. Here, this one, got go turn, go spin. Right?
And even if you keep spinning,
Right,
Yeah,
no, I'm just
yeah.
standing here, he couldn't be able to move, I try to spin. I didn't even like it, I just hold on to it. Here, drop the knee on the armpit. So block the whole thing, 1, 2, 3, 3 joints down. So you try to kick it, nothing happens.
Yeah, number 3,
So-
where we get the straight arm. Same thing here, instead of getting that lock here and here, I'm gonna push to get that lock all the way up to his shoulder. Now what happens here is when people pass under, he just pulls down.
Right.
The way I like to have people do this is make sure if I can see his hand the entire time, I'm low enough.
That's a different technique.
Right, it's a different technique, but it's. When you
I
go-
let you go in a wrist because it was twisted.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you keep him on that side, because otherwise it comes straight over your head.
Which is harder than forward. He's so long.
I made myself
There's a
laugh.
practical nature of some of those
I mean,
things.
I can feel if I add the rotation, it'll keep on.
It's going to sink right into that spot. But don't look, okay, there's the knee, that's where I'm kicking. You're looking to kick. If you just put your leg up there and rest it on their thigh, it's going to sink right into the knee area. It's just going to slide. But you have to let it be heavy. If you start pushing right away until you reach that end point, it's just like trying to do a joint lock before you reach the end point. You're just pushing against nothing. You know, it's like when people do chokes and they don't have it, you just squeeze it. You're just squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, and it's like eventually you get tired, or eventually you get it. But once you sink in, if you sink into the right spot, it just goes. So let it sink into the right spot before you try and do it. Let's work with these here. Let's do 2 groups of 3. Make it a little bit easier since we're going.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
Shaking up that lung butter.
I said,
Other arm in front.
that's good.
Sounded good.
No, I'm like, what? Like, I was like making sure.
Oh, that's right, I don't have to go underneath.
Do this, not this. So I'm like, wait. And then my whole body, both feet off the ground. That was really good.
This is a concept that people who do like kung fu where they do like push hands, and Tai Chi where they do push hands. You know, the single weighted this, double weighted this is really important.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of hitting them, just go back.
I'll just hit one. It's got to be right. The footwork is really, and then the follow-up is just locking that technique in. So if you know your steps and you know your grabs, really it's up to you to make up whatever techniques you want to do. Because there's a ton of variation, a ton of options.
Can I speak for you?
Certainly.
For my understanding of experience, for sure, steps, that was a great point. I haven't about that. And steps like, when you're looking at pyramid, it's absolute stable because it stands. And so what I understand from the years ago when I started training here in Korea, my first instructor wasn't Dojin Yin, but someone else. He's a student. One day in session, he was sharing with me the stance, how important the stance for using technique. It's like understanding the pyramid. You need to set your body as always like a pyramid. So you're never going to tumble down to the ground. Always, no matter how you move, always in this position right here. Okay, Michael? And I understood that 2 years later that truthfully it works really well if you really understand pyramid theory and also with understanding body rhythm, like Sean mentioned about. And you're holding somebody's hand, you can read the body, and energy flows and everything. So as you understand yourself, understand the other parties. So I'm going to go back to this one. Remember the armbar technique? Like this one? Okay. Try to use the armbar technique with me.
Come on, you know how to do it. Get down low. Raise your body, not your arm.
What's happening? Why?
I'm doing something way off.
This one too. I'm not using full force now.
I know.